We have a busy show today. We have two guests. One guest canceled, and name shall not be mentioned. But our first guest is Karen Beltran. She is running for Yonkers mayor in the Democratic primary against the incumbent two-term mayor, Mike Spano. And I think there's another candidate we had on the show, Ivy Reeves, who's also been on the show. So we've had Ivy on the show. We had Mike Spano on the show before he actually announced he was running. And we wanted to, in our effort to let you see as many of the candidates in as many races as possible, we asked her to come into the studio now and bring her on so we can talk to her and introduce you to her and let her tell you why she is the candidate you should vote for on June 25th in the Yonkers mayoral race. Please pull the mic up close to you. If you do social media, you can sign in on. You can sign in Facebook or wherever and let everybody know you're here and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
And before we get started, let me give you an official round of applause. There you go.
Welcome.
Okay. Your mic is on. Yes. Speaking to the mic, please. Okay, so now I've asked Ivy Reeves the same question. The first question I'm going to ask you. Do you think that the city of Yonkers is ready for a female of color mayor? Not just a female mayor, but a female of color.
Absolutely, I do think so. I've been door knocking for a couple of months now, been interacting with as many people as possible, and people are receptive to a change in Yonkers. People are receptive to someone that's not part of the current political system stepping up and leading the city. I think it's a national trend towards it that makes it easier to do so at the local level. I'm hopeful. I do think it could happen, and I'm here to make it happen as best as I can. I am fighting a machine here, of course, so I'm realistic about that. But there's no substitute for speaking to people one-on-one, and that's exactly what I was just doing at Trevor Park earlier today, what I did at the Hispanic Day Parade last week, and on a daily basis when I go door knocking or when I call people or just interacting with anyone from Yonkers and outside of Yonkers too, right? Because we are the fourth largest city. Everyone knows someone in Yonkers. I don't lose an opportunity to talk to anyone about it because you never know who you're talking to. So that's how I'm doing it, grassroots, spreading the word, and making sure people know that there's even an election. Because remember, this is the first year that the primaries are not in September.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's critical. I'm huge into civic engagement. I'm huge into increasing the voter registrations and voter turnout. And I am concerned that not enough people know that there is an election on Tuesday, June 25th. So that's usually how I first start when I speak to people. Did you know that there's an election coming up, a primary on June 25th? And then I proceed to tell them about myself and why I think I'm the best candidate to be mayor of Yonkers.
Okay. Lorraine, did you want to kick off a few questions real quick?
Sure.
As I tell everybody this. I mean, a lot of people think I know everything and I know everybody. I refer to people who know more about things than I do, and when it comes to matters of politics and Yonkers, I refer to former Councilwoman Lorraine Lopez, who knows the Yonkers political landscape much better than she's forgot more about it than I will ever know. So,
Thank you.
One of the things that concerns me, and I think it concerns a lot of people, and it's what's going on in the downtown waterfront, the development that's going downtown. Now, I was one of the first councilwomen to vote on it when we brought in the Esplanade and stuff like that. But when I was there, I had Simmer Brandon as the council member from the first district, and she fought very, very hard for her people there. And if there was going to be some development, she made sure there was an X amount of affordable housing. I was at the meetings. I've seen them going back and forth, even curse her out, but she always stood her ground. She never always got what she wanted, but she sure fought hard for it. We've got an issue with homelessness.
Yes.
We've got an issue with drugs, and if you go into ShopRite and Getty Square in the bathroom, if one of your kids go, you bring in a child, the first thing you're gonna see is a needle, because they use the bathrooms in Getty Square to shoot up and do drugs and stuff like that. So I guess one of the questions that I want to ask, with the redevelopment, do you know how many of the apartments are going to be used for affordable housing for each development that they're bringing in?
There's a city mandate that it be 10%.
That is 10%.
It
Go ahead.
and it should be more.
That was my question.
It should be more.
Yes.
There's such a high demand for it. 10% is not enough.
No.
I know that negotiations can be done with the developers to increase that. And I think, but it has to be a priority by the administration. Everyone has to be on the same page about that.
Yeah.
There's a high need for affordable housing options, not just subsidized housing, but also senior housing is very important.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that everyone is aware of the housing options, and really we need to prioritize that, because that issue, housing, is very critical when it comes to education as well. Children learn better when they live in better housing. They're absent less if they're not homeless, et cetera, et cetera. So everything is connected, and we all need to understand that in order to improve our society. So it's not just a housing issue, it's not just an education issue, it's everything. Everything has to work together, and that's how you improve things. Not just by discussing issues on their own, but together.
So you're gonna work with the city council?
Of course.
Yeah. Now, is this mandate something that can be turned over by the city council or by the mayor?
The city council, so the city, and
They have to do a resolution?
yes, and I believe that there is a plan for that at this time. I believe that they've been discussing that because it is a hot issue in the community.
Yeah.
Everyone's really advocating for an increase of the 10%, and I support that wholly.
It's good that that you know what's going on with that. Yeah, that's
Of course.
fantastic. That's fantastic. AJ, are you okay?
Yes. More people that asked me questions, calling me. I was letting them know what was going on. And
Okay. With the volume, there's a problem with the volume.
yes, so they're saying that it's extremely low. I can ask you to pull your mics up closer. Lorraine, I'm sure they can hear you because I can hear you clearly. You seem to be a little low, but I can't turn anything up any higher.
Okay.
And I said, if anybody misses any portion of this video, of this interview, the complete video will be posted on Black Westchester later tonight, early tomorrow, and I will blast it off everywhere so everybody can make sure that they will see this in its entirety. Because they're saying it's the connection is a little low, like the video keeps buffering or whatever sometimes too. So wow, Lorraine, you asked a lot.
I
I'm trying
just
to think.
asked one question.
Yeah, but I mean, now you covered a lot of territory. What made you decide that I'm gonna run for the mayor? I'm gonna run for mayor of Yonkers. What is?
Yeah.
What? Did you wake up one day and be like, I want to be mayor? Like, what made you?
Not exactly, but it's not unusual for me to do big things either. I'm a pretty ambitious woman, always have been, and I'll continue to be so, no matter what happens with this race. But really, it's time to break the cycle of nepotism and cronyism in Yonkers, because that's the sort of system, the sort of thing that leads a politician to extend term limits. It's the sort of thing that makes the community afraid to support anyone other than the status quo politicians, and people are fed up with that. We do need to change that. That's how we change everything else, by electing someone who's a regular person, who understands the issues in the community and can actually affect change and understands.
Now, in full disclosure, and this is not really an attack on the mayor, but we did have him in the studio, and that was a big conversation on was he going to run again, and
If they extended term limits
and the
or
whole
did
thing
a
of
referendum.
the whole thing of extending the term limits, and he said that he had no intentions of running, and that he wasn't trying to push through this whole term limit thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't. So we see that did not happen, and I got calls from his community, from his campaign or his administration, saying that so many people like Dr. Bostic and more others were just calling for him to run, so he's running again. But when he said it on the show, he meant what he said. And I just wanted, since we're moving around, I wanted to say what he said, and then you can go to Black Westchester and just put his name in. You could actually see his interview yourself.
Well, if that's true, if there was a calling for him to run again, that says something about why we need more leaders. Is the pool that small that we need another 4 years when he's had 8 years already? There's no one else that's just as qualified, and that's without saying that he hasn't accomplished anything. Obviously, there's been improvements, but that doesn't mean that someone else can't move the city forward. You have to make room for new leaders.
Right,
That's a must.
No, I think, I think term limits overall, whether you agree on what length they should be, some people feel 3 terms for the mayor. But whatever you feel, I think term limits are a good thing because when you do not have term limits, you elected officials, politicians get complacent. And the longer you're in, then for some reason you might have started off the greatest and with the greatest intentions corrupt. We see this in the Senate, and you know, these people, some of these people,
Congress,
Congress, some of these people,
No term
some
limits.
of these people die in office. They got
Yes.
oxygen masks. They got somebody got to carry them to their chair.
Yes.
I mean, come on, like, you know, there are young people who can. You know, I think that there should be some kind of term limits.
Right.
But so I'm definitely in favor. It's something we don't have in Mount Vernon that I think that we could use. Mayor Davis said we do have term limits after he ran 3 times. They voted him out. He said
They voted him
He
out.
said that was the
That's term
term.
limit.
He said that was the term.
You know, that's a good question. How many terms do you feel a mayor should have in the city of Yonkers?
I think 2 is enough, and I
2
think
4-year terms.
2 4-year terms.
Okay.
And if there is a proposed extension, it should be a referendum. That's how we resolve increasing
Yeah,
the
it
number of
should have
terms.
been a referendum.
A referendum,
Yeah.
not a city council vote in the middle of the night.
So now, just so I'm clear, because I know every municipality is different.
Yes.
So it's 2 years, 2 years consecutive.
2 terms.
2 terms consecutive. That means you can be out of election and come back in, right?
Yes.
Like,
Technically.
right. So it's not 2 terms cap. It's 2 terms consecutive. So once you've done 2 consecutive terms before they made the change, you couldn't run again. You'd have to sit out an election and you could try to come back again if you wanted to. So I think if you're going to have term limits, it should be a cap. I mean, I don't, you know.
Like not be able to come back at all?
I'm that's hard to say. In the case of Mount Vernon, there are some people who wanted Ernie Davis to go, and then they got Richard Thomas, and some people are like, "Ooh, Ernie don't look so bad," you know. So it just.
I mean, I would love to see Phil McConey back.
So.
I mean, not on your age.
I just wanted to address that, the difference, to clear it up for the people,
Right.
the consecutive and the just 2 terms period.
Right.
So who is Karen Beltran, the person, not the politician, the person? Who-
Yes, I'm a regular person. I was born in Colombia. I arrived here in the U.S. when I was 7 years old, here in Yonkers. I went to Yonkers Public Schools. I graduated from Gorton High School in 1998. I did go to a SUNY undergrad, and I did go to a SUNY law school. After law school, I returned to Yonkers to raise my family here. I'm an attorney. I started in the federal courts, and now I've been working in the family courts for about 12 years now. I handle child welfare cases. I've been involved in the community mostly by way of Yonkers Council, PTA, and other PTA units, not only in Yonkers, but region-wide and statewide. I'm on the board of the Yonkers Partners in Education, and I also keep busy with my professional organizations, the county bar associations, where I even coordinate a summer internship program for high school students interested in the legal field. So I keep myself busy. I'm civically aware. So I was, for example, at the term limit extension public hearing back in October. I was there until I could stay no longer. There was standing room only. I had my son with me, so I left. So I'm very engaged that way. I'm at public hearings, budget hearings all the time. I often speak at these public hearings, and so I like to maintain aware of what is happening not only on a national level, but on the state level and local level too. And I've been that way for as long as I can remember.
Now let me ask you a question, because I talked to a lot in the 5 years we had. August will be 5 years. I've talked to various candidates throughout the county and all different races, state senate, everything, assembly, everything. What I notice a lot when I talk to the candidates, they're adults talking about adult issues, and no one's talking about the children and the future. Now, you mentioned that you serve with family court. How will that impact you in decisions in governing, making decisions that will affect the youth? Because a lot of our decisions and a lot of our things, we don't think about the youth are the future. If we don't invest in them, we have no future. You know what I mean? But we in Mount Vernon, some of the programs have been cut for the youth and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of decisions are made with the youth in mind. So since you had a family court background, what is that? Will that impact your governing as far as?
Yeah, I would even go as far as saying that is a number one priority for me. Not only because I work in family court, but because I did PTA work, so I understand the importance not only of good academics, but also services that benefit the children, mental health, other people support services, guidance for college or career preparedness, all of those issues. We need quality community services, not only in school, but outside of school. We need more mentors for children, boys and girls, and we need different types of programs, not just one, and not only one agency or two handling all of those programs. We need to really have a diverse group or diverse options for all the families that we have, because we do have a very diverse population. So one size doesn't fit all, and there needs to be plenty of options. I am an example of how you can break cycles of poverty through education and through community support. I was a teen mom, not only once, but twice, and I still made it through high school. I used the Whitney Young Daycare Center when I was in high school and my son needed childcare. I used university childcare system.
My kids went to Whitney Young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daycare. I'm sorry. They did. It was a great thing.
It was a great daycare. It was the closest one to Gordon High School. So we just come down Park Avenue, walk over Ashburn, pick him up, go home, do homework, and back again. So I understand just the struggles that every family in Yonkers has to go through to make it in life. So I just deeply am aware and understand those issues. But I also know that there's a lot of hope that it actually can be done. We just need to prioritize all those issues that affect children and family and that improve the life of children and family. That starts with education, but doesn't end there. It has to do with housing. It has to do with ensuring that our families, both moms, dads, and other legal guardians, have good paying jobs, preferably union jobs like the one that I have, with benefits and health care.
What
That's
union do you
important.
belong to?
I belong to Teamsters,
Uh-huh.
and I have been for about 12
I'm a
years
former
now.
Teamster.
456.
I worked for Coca-Cola for like 5 years. I'm a former Teamster.
I know Teamsters.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm an attorney for Westchester County, and some of the attorneys, not all, were Teamsters, so I have been. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that because, honestly, I have union protection, and I can run for office without any fear that I could lose my job. I have vacation days, I have sick days, I have health insurance. All of that I need. A lot of our families need that and do not have that option. It's crucial, and I support labor 100% because of that.
So, one question, let me ask you. I usually ask this at the end. I like to get this out because I forget sometimes. Some people are just seeing you for the first time on the show. Some people don't know who you are. Some people might hear something that they're impressed by. Anyone watching this interview today or following days going into the election wants to know more about you, wants to know how they can get involved with your campaign, donate, or whatever, social media, websites, that kind of information.
Yes, I do have a website. I'm on social media. I am at www.KarenBeltranForMayor.com, and my handle for Instagram and Facebook is at Karen Beltran for Mayor. I have a donate page like all other candidates do. It's been so difficult to fundraise, but I'm proud to say that nearly all of my donations are small donations from the community, from friends, from family, truly grassroots, and I appreciate the community support in that stance as well. I am available at community events. I am approachable and relatable. And if anyone ever wants to communicate with me, they're able to do that pretty easily. My email address is Karen@KarenBeltranForMayor.com as well.
Okay. Go ahead,
I have a
Lorraine.
question.
Okay.
Okay. Back when I was in the city council, I had the honor, the privilege, or I fought for, and was able to get two parks, several parks redone, but two particular parks I'd have renamed. I named one. I worked with the community in Southwest Yonkers, primarily Elliott Avenue, a very underserved area, through Post Street and Hamilton, and the people in the community chose the name of the park, and we named it Unity Park. Then we have another one in Buena Vista where Lucy Casanova did
Partner.
Orgullo Borinqueño, and so the park where the kids played at and where they practiced, I named it Pride Park, which is English for Orgullo, in honor of those kids that were there. So I didn't name it after anybody in particular because, to be honest, back in the days there were no Hispanic role models that you can really look up to in the city of Yonkers. But we have a very, very large amount of people in the city of Yonkers right now that are Latino, Hispanic, or however they want to call themselves. One of the things that bugs me so much, and it might be petty to some people, but it's not petty to me, we have not one park, not one street, not one community center named after a Latino.
That's right. And we just got our first school.
With Cesar Chavez School.
Well, that's the latest one. There's also Maria Hostos. But right,
I
nothing beyond
didn't
that.
mention the schools because I know
Right.
that the schools are there. But
Yeah.
I'm talking about if you go down Southwest Yonkers, or you go to the municipal housing, Old Rock, you got a whole bunch of black and Latinos living in old Rock townhouses. And no offense, I'm not talking about Caucasians. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying why are they not acknowledging us? We don't get acknowledged at all whatsoever. Well, we do get acknowledged when it comes time to vote, when it's time for re-election or election, and people, all of a sudden they notice our numbers, and they notice how many of us are registered to vote. That doesn't mean we come out and vote people. We should, but would you commit to at least consider saying, you know what, let me give the Latinos something to be proud about. Let them walk down the street and say, mira, Roberto Clemente Boulevard, or something like that. Willie Colon Park in the waterfront. Give us something, please.
Right. Beyond just something like that, I mean, we need to have more Latino commissioners, more African American commissioners, and mayor. We need a Latina mayor as well. Why not? That's truly representative government. The city of Yonkers is about 60% brown and black, and we need to push that through. We need to have people imagine that that's actually possible in the city of Yonkers. It's happened in Buffalo. It's happened in Rochester already. In Syracuse, there's been a woman mayor as well. Yonkers is the last frontier on that end, and there's no reason why it cannot happen.
I also do a radio show with Hezzy Harris, Yonkers Tribune. I'm sorry, I don't mean to plug him, but I'm plugging him because he's cool. So, we were actually talking about you, and we were talking about the Republican that went for the seat, a Latino, that went for the seat, and of course they didn't give it to him because there was because there was a deal made with DiGiorgio. Let's put it that way. There was a deal made with DiGiorgio, and he wasn't going to have a chance now to become the Republican nominee. So basically what we were talking about is the fact that the demographics are changing in Yonkers.
Yes.
I mean, this is the first time we was going to have two Latinos running for mayor.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I'm so proud of
Yes.
that. I'm like, yes. Okay, maybe the odds are, it's an uphill battle. Let's be honest. It's
Yes.
an uphill battle. You
Yes.
got a very, very well-known mayor who's beloved by many. I mean, I know some people are upset at him, but people like him. So. But the fact that you were willing to say, you know what, I'm stepping into the race, and the chance that there's a possibility you will win. Just, anybody can win any race. I went into a race. I went from the streets of Southwest Yonkers into the halls of power, you know, and it worked for me.
Any given Sunday.
We have a question from the audience, Donna Nolan. She said, well, everyone knows my biggest concern is about gun violence. What would Karen do different that has not already been put in place?
That's
Yes.
a good question.
Maybe more police officers are on the street patrolling on foot. It's something that I think would benefit all the communities. I was there on last Monday, voicing my opinion in support of gun safety. I did see Donna there as well. It was a very nice event by Mom's Demand. And I truly understand the issues, but it goes back to what you were saying, AJ, about the youth and them having something to do and not having children on the street, not having children that are not in school. It's all circular, it's all connected. So it's not just about gun safety, it's about all the other issues that lead up to that. And like I said, I do believe that we need to, kids, our community, our parents who are worried about their children walking to and from school, to and from a bodega, to and from a grandparent's house or a friend's house, that they're safe. And it makes me feel safer when I see a local community police officer walking up and down the
The
streets.
beat, yeah.
Someone said more community policing. These cops don't know their community.
Well, they would if that's where they work on a daily basis or if they had a rotation. That's what we need. There's no substitute for spending time somewhere or talking to people. There's just no substitute for that.
Now,
Speaking of
coming
which-
to
speaking
is
of
there any
which-
questions that I haven't asked you that you want to get out, your platform or whatever, anything?
Yeah.
Yes, we discussed much of it. Much of it has to do with issues that affect children and family, education, affordable housing options. We just discussed public safety, good paying jobs, local jobs.
Apprenticeship programs.
Exactly, because we all know the value of having a union job and having a good paying job that we frankly need to supplement our children's education, right? Because there's a lot of children are not able to do what they want to do or have the potential to do during the school day. And so as parents, we want the best for our children and we supplement that instruction, and that's not free. And so we need good paying jobs to have the funding available to do that. And really about civic engagement and having a representative government, all of that is truly important to me. All of it, not just one thing.
Any last question?
And
One-
I forgot what I was
Okay.
going to ask.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm sure it was good.
Oh, I'm sure it was too.
I mean,
Well, I want to congratulate you for running. Anybody who has, I'm not running. What y'all have to go through to run these days. The elections, they're not always they're dirty. It doesn't have nothing to do with politics. I mean, with who the best person is. Sometimes it's just who can get dirt on who and who. Hey, I give you a lot of credit. Anybody who runs, I think more
it's
people
rough.
should
can,
run.
Can you imagine
but-
what
but-
it's like for mayor? You look
Yeah.
at my niece Tasha Diaz is running for city council in the 3rd district. It's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough. So I can't even imagine what you're going through, as a candidate
Well,
for
let-
mayor.
Well,
First
I
100
got on the ballot though. Isn't that amazing in
Well-
itself?
Yes, I did, and
Yes.
I heard that you went and you knocked on in the projects.
Yes.
I heard you went into the projects. I heard you
Yes.
went down to the side and you went where the
Yes.
people were. I heard that.
Yes.
You know who? Okay. I won't
Last
tell you
last
so.
question. First 100 days. What would you do?
I want to get to know my community even more. I want to get to know City Hall and how that works even more. I want to know who works there. I want to know what they do on a day-to-day basis. I want to get a feel of what it is and then start analyzing and start making the changes that need to be made and get moving on improving education, get moving on increasing that 10% mandate,
Yes.
making sure that happens, get moving and meeting with commissioners to make everything better. That's what you do when you first start a new job. You get acclimated, you know what you don't know, and you hire the right people, and you push through. And that's what I do. I push through in everything that I do.
I see some people are just tuning in.
Do you
And
have
some
a,
people have questions. Because of time, we trying to get another candidate in as well. But this video, the video of this interview, will be in its
Right.
entirety on blackwestjustice.com tonight, tomorrow morning. One more time for anybody who didn't hear how to contact you if they have questions that they want to reach out to you directly.
Yes,
Social media.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Handle is at Karen Beltran for Mayor. My email address is Karen at Karen Beltran for Mayor. .com, and my website is KarenBeltranForMayor.com.
That's great. Last words. Last words.
No. Can you just let everybody know when is the primary and what time do the polls open and close?
Yeah, so it's a Tuesday, June 25th. Polls open at 6 a.m. and they close at 9 p.m. And it's really important to me that we have a higher than usual turnout, and I hope we can get there. There are other primaries as well, so I'm hoping for a larger than usual turnout on Tuesday, June 25th, because it is about that. It's about engaging the community, and we need to get ready for 2020 as well. We need to have people engage with the issues and with the candidates, and that's how we improve things. More people engage, more people voicing their opinion. I know that you two know that, but we want to make sure that
Other
regular
people know that.
people know
Yeah.
that as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We want to extend an invitation if and when you win, that you
Thank you.
come back as mayor to
Of
the
course.
show, and utilize the show to reach out to your community and
Yes.
get the word out to the community, because that is why we're here. So,
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for running.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank you for running, because I think it's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to say I support anybody, because I really
I understand that too.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes,
but
I
you
do.
know what though? I can show a picture to my granddaughter and say, look, she's running for mayor, and that's a beautiful thing. That's
Thank
a
you. I
beautiful
appreciate it.
thing.
Role modeling is what it's about.
Yes.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, and even if you don't win, I hope this is not the last we see of you, because we need everybody active in our community.
Yes.
Stepping up, speaking up, and educating the people. So thank you again for coming. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
running, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.